Welcome to the Komfy Kouch podcast. And what a comfy couch it is. Too bad we're not sitting at it yet. Soon though. Soon. Right? Soon?
Yeah.
Soon.
Yep.
We got a bunch of plans coming. Anyway, so, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
A little tired, but you know.
Yeah.
Other than that, not too bad. So how do you want to do this? You want to describe what's going to be going on with these podcasts, or you just want to go right on into it and they can tag along for the ride and evolve with us and see where the podcast goes as we go?
I think it would be best if we, and by we I mean you, explain exactly like what's going to be going on as far as like.
So, basically, to put it into the best kind of possible nutshell that I possibly can, most of the majority of the episodes will be basically just us talking about issues with life. Basically. There will be some fun episodes in there somewhere, but we're hoping to enlighten some minds, if you will, about certain aspects of life.
Like a group therapy.
Kinda
like a group therapy.
An example of this would be, for today's podcast, if you couldn't already tell, the title of this podcast is going to be, Don't Tell Me How to Feel. Basically, I believe the name should be self-explanatory, but we'll see how it goes. So...
Actually, I just thought of something.
What's that?
We haven't even introduced ourselves.
Well, I'm Otis, and she's 420.
I am 420.
She is the date, 420.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
so,
go ahead.
Anyways... Because she has more experience in this department than I do, I will let you start us off. Don't tell me how to feel. Take it away.
I guess we could start by saying that people like to add their 2 cents in where it's not needed or asked for. So, like, mine is, like, with my family as far as my, borderline personality disorder. Like, you understand because you're understand better, I should say. Obviously there's still more to the book we're reading, but that says about it, so I think you're understanding better. But like, my family they don't understand. They don't give me the time of day, my mental health, and just like, then they expect me to act a certain way. I'm not living up to their expectations type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
which I'm sure some people can relate to.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you also have borderline personality disorder.
Yeah.
Then you can really relate.
It's fucking hell. It's not fun. I'm hoping this workbook that I got is gonna help. I gotta fucking start that shit. I should start that today.
So, basically, the way that I look at this...
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to do it a little bit different than her, because obviously I don't have the experience of borderline personality disorder, because to my knowledge I don't have it. Who knows, but as far as I'm aware I don't.
Haven't been diagnosed.
Yeah.
The
thing that drives me nuts, and this goes in with the title of Don't Tell Me How to Feel, is when you have those people who try to tell you that because somebody else they know can do it, you can do it too.
Oh yeah, it's irritating.
Like, so-and-so can mop the floors better, so why can't you type thing?
Yeah. Especially when, like, I think it irritates me the most when it's a sibling that you're being compared against.
Yeah?
I won't say names, but for me it's one of my brothers.
Yep.
Which you know. He's got a car and he's got a job and he's got this and he's got that. Why don't you? You're just a crazy psycho bitch. If we're gonna be real about it. You don't even don't tell me exactly how it says. Like, don't tell me how to feel. Like, you don't know what I'm experiencing. Just like I have no right to tell you how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, this is one way and it's only about my emotions. Like, no. Whoever the other person is in the situation, like, they have emotions too.
They handle situations differently.
They handle it differently, and I'm aware of that. Mm-hmm. So, like, why can't you give me the same respect to be aware that I don't handle it the way you do?
Exactly.
I can't push through it the way you do.
Exactly. Like, I'll give it an example. This is a silly example, but it'll set the tone here. It's basically like you take two people and say that these two people have a favorite hat. Just throwing out a random object. They have a favorite hat. One day, they both lose their favorite hat. One of them could look at it as, oh well, I can just go buy another one. Whereas the other person could look at it as, well, what the F, I lost my effing hat, and let it ruin their entire day. Like I said, it's a silly little example, but it's still an example nonetheless.
That's the whole example in, like, of the whole half glass full, half empty, half full. That's the same exact thing. Except for your analogy was a hat instead of a glass of water. Do you understand it better now?
No.
No? Oh, fuck. Maybe you guys can explain in the comments below a little bit better of the whole...
Yeah, explain to me why the glass being half full or half empty matters all that much when it's still the same amount of whatever liquid is in said glass.
It's an analogy.
It's an analogy
like
that
a
makes
metaphor.
no sense because it's still the same amount of liquid.
It's not about the liquid. It's not about what kind of liquid.
Like your glass of iced coffee there.
Yeah.
It's a little bit less than half empty.
Yeah.
Or it's a little bit less than
half full. You're right.
But it's still the same amount, however you look at it.
Yeah, but am I gonna think, shit, I'm almost out of iced coffee? Or am I gonna think, yeah, I got iced coffee still? That's how it goes.
That's how you go.
Yeah. Now do you get it? Pound it into your head however I have to.
Over the podcast.
Yeah.
So...
I'm gonna go to this blunt now. He's turning his legs. Where's the lighter? Can I have the lighter, please? Otis. Thanks.
There you go, 420.
Thanks. So, what's that say? I don't have my glasses on. Is that 8 minutes or 5?
That's the blind man. 8. It's 8 minutes.
8 minutes. Oh, wow. We had a ways to go.
Yeah, well, there's still ways that we could, discuss this further. It'll be better once we do live, because we'll be going live at some point.
Yeah.
We're going to have a whole setup here.
And yeah, once the setup's all complete...
This will be a lot more smoother.
This is the infant stage.
Yeah, basically, this is... We're in the infant stage. We're
just starting.
Yeah, exactly.
Give us a break.
So this is... You could almost consider this like an introduction kind of a thing.
Yeah, basically. For, you guys to get a feel for us, and us to get a feel for how you guys respond to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
But there's a lot of plans that are going into this. There's been a lot of plans already going into it. You'll see once we actually start going live, and you'll actually see video of us. There's a whole setup we got going on. We're just waiting for a couple of other things to get here.
Yeah, actually, I gotta check on...
Right now, we're only using one microphone because we can only really hook up one microphone. We do have 2 microphones. It's just we can't use them both right now.
Yeah, but I got that USB port thingy. Is that a hub? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
A hub? So, that'll help out.
So anyway, back to the topic at hand.
The topic in my hand is a blunt.
Topic at hand, not in hand. Anyways.
Yes.
So go ahead and give your prime example of a "Don't Tell Me How to Feel" from your personal experiences.
Oh boy. Well, I don't know if this would match up with what you said, but I mean, I do have something that comes to mind. So, I won't say names, but I'll just say there was a person, and I don't know, like I said, if this would even fit what you just said, but I'm going to explain it. There was a person who's in my life still that many times has threatened to call CPS on me. And there was one time I was at this person's house, and I called the person a bad name. I called them a cunt. And mind you, this specific person that I said this word to has called me a bitch and a psycho and crazy and
a whore.
A whore. Yeah, I've been called. I forgot about that one. Thanks. Yeah. So this person has called me those names as well. So it's not like I'm just being completely off rail. But I guess how I could tie this back to the question or the title is, if you're threatening to take my kid away, because at the time it was just the one, you're threatening to take my kid away, like, I'm allowed to feel my emotions and express them. Like, maybe calling this person a cunt wasn't the best way to go about it. But nonetheless, everything was happening so fast, and the whole argument started inside this person's house, and then they came outside and got in their vehicle and they were leaving. So, like, it was just a difficult, not the kind of situation where, like, let's go sit down and talk about this.
Because this person doesn't know how to do that.
No, it got heated very quickly from both ends. But like I was saying, to tie it back, like, to say, because I had other family members that were saying that, and I'm sure people who listen to this who will say that was wrong for me to call a person that derogatory mean name. But, like, don't tell me how to feel. Like, I'm allowed to express my emotions, just like this other person has been able to express that they think to themselves that I'm a bitch and I'm a psycho. Like, those aren't nice things either, but they're acceptable. Why? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
That's just going, like, being like I don't know, would it be two-faced? Would that be correct, or would that not be correct?
I'd go more along the lines of hypocritical.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So that'd be my example, my personal one. That was the first one that came to my mind. I'm sure there's obviously many more throughout my life. Like starting in childhood, trying to tell me how to feel, trying to tell me that, like, I'm too sensitive and putting labels on me and shit, and then, like, expect me to not react to those labels or be what you labeled me as. Like, if that's how you see me, then I guess that's how I must act. I mean, just because one person sees something one way doesn't mean that everyone sees it that way. Just like on the internet, how there's been a different, like that one argument before about the dress. Is it blue or is it gold or white?
That dress, yeah.
Yeah. And then come to find out, I think, wasn't it blue and black or something like that? Yeah. I think, and it was just the way that the lighting was on the picture that made it look a different shade.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's one way to you, looks another way to me. Doesn't mean that either one of those is correct. It's just, that's how we see it. Perception. What are your thoughts?
Well, I can think of another one. I can't remember exactly what the word was, so I might be paraphrasing. But
for you or for me?
Well, this would go and coincide with both of us because it was somebody, I think they said it to you about either me or us. The other person.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I don't even remember what it was about, but I just remember, like, we were just, like, having severe, like, I don't know, anxiety, I think, about something. I can't remember fully what it was. Whether it was anxiety or just, I think it was actually stress. Might have been actually what it was.
Oh.
And the person said something along the lines of, like, what do you have to be stressed about? Mm-hmm. Like, what do you mean, what do we have to be stressed about? Just because we don't go through the same situations you do doesn't mean we don't get stressed out over other things. Like, we deal with our own issues, just as you do.
Yeah, and just because we're younger doesn't mean we don't have issues, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like...
So I'd say that definitely coincides with a don't tell me how to feel. Because, like, how the hell would you know what I go through? How would you know what she goes through?
Right.
Just like how, the listeners, like, we don't know what you go through. Like I said earlier with the whole hat situation, like, people are going to experience situations differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you wake up and you can go downstairs and realize you got to sweep your floor, for example. And it could give you severe freaking anxiety knowing that your floor needs to be swept. Whereas somebody else could be just like, oh, the floor needs to be swept, and then just sweep the floor.
Yeah. Everyone approaches things differently. And then especially if you put mental health on top of it, like someone who's severely depressed or someone who's got, like, schizophrenia or even, like, my BPD, like...
Or here's another example. Here you go. Here's a definite of a don't tell me how to feel kind of a thing. It's the same situation with, like, those people that, like, if they're having a bad day, there are some people who can just go to work and work fine and do all that. I'm not one of those people.
Yeah, me neither.
If I'm stressed out about something, I can't go to work because I can't focus on my work because I'm too busy thinking about the stuff that's stressing me out.
Yeah.
But then that also goes back to the whole, well, if this person can do it, so can you. That's not how that works.
Right.
That'd be like looking at me and saying, so-and-so can drive, so why can't you? Well, I have an eye disease, so that prevents me.
Right.
Just because somebody else can do something doesn't mean everybody can do that same thing.
Exactly. It's not a one-size-fits-all type thing. Everyone's different. And, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys have, you listeners, I won't say viewers, because technically you're not seeing us. But,
Yet.
Yeah, yet is correct. But what are your thoughts and feelings about, well, pretty much everything? From your own personal stuff to what we've shared. I'm curious to hear from people on the other end of why they agree or disagree with what we've said.
Go ahead and comment down below, And I'm going to say this too. I don't want the comment section to turn into like a flaming battle between people.
Oh, no.
Please don't do hatred or like mock other people in the comments. That's
No.
not what this is here for.
No, we're all allowed to express our opinions and our feelings, and whether we want to share something or not share something is personal experience and opinion.
It's like I want this to be an open platform where people can express themselves freely, and not be judged for expressing their feelings.
Exactly.
Towards certain situations, if you will.
Exactly.
Like, one of the things that I would like to do, which I haven't even talked to her about this yet, so this will be a new thing for her too.
Oh, yippee.
Is I would like to eventually figure out a way to allow you guys to be able to call in and actually, like, have you, like, on the phone or whatever the case may be, whatever we use. I have to do some research on some stuff and figure out, like, the best way to go about it.
Oh, I have an idea already.
Have you guys call in, depending on what topic we're talking about in that episode, and give your input, give your thoughts and opinions or experiences if you have any experience within that topic.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, being on YouTube, there's just a vast, wide, huge, actually, variety of people. Men, women, and everything in between. That is, on the YouTubes.
Yeah.
Tube of you.
The tube of you, the you a tube. So what was it you were gonna say?
Oh, about the calling in?
Excuse me. Yeah.
I was just gonna say that, like, I was thinking of ways to go about it, and well, we'd still have to talk about some things, but I was thinking like a text app number or something.
Yeah. Like I said, we'd have to look into it and figure out what would be the best route to go about it, because I would still have to figure out, like, if we were to do... I know there's a way to do it, I just don't know personally how to, because this is a first for me with this podcast stuff, so I'm still learning as I go type of thing, and so is she. Mm-hmm. But I know there's a way that you can, like, connect the phone to the computer,
Yes.
so that they can talk through the computer
That's
and
what I
they
was
can
wondering.
hear them and stuff. Yeah, there's a way
Yeah.
to do certain stuff like that. I would have to like actually look into it and figure it out.
I believe in you, babe.
But I figured that would be something that we could do. But like I said earlier, we have a bunch of stuff planned.
Yeah. Can't tell you all the plans.
Yeah, but there's stuff planned. Like you'll see a lot of the stuff once we actually can go live and you can actually see us. There's a nifty little thing that we have here that I can't wait to use for live streams because it is really freaking cool. I won't go into too much detail about it right now, but it's a nifty little gadget.
That it is. That it is.
It's probably one of the most like greatest little pieces of technology I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
Especially for the two of you.
Especially for doing like live streams and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a nifty little gadget for sure. And like I said, there's other stuff too, but we'll talk about that more once,
You can see us probably.
Yeah.
I'd say. This is temporary. You'll get to see our beautiful faces soon.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I'm thinking that I don't know if like eventually if we plan on going on longer, but we are planning on doing like 45 minutes and maybe an hour podcast to start. And then maybe eventually we can start going like 2 hours to where maybe like we'll have little segments here and there.
Maybe the 2-hour one should be when we go live.
Yeah.
Opposed to, I mean, we can still talk about it, but opposed to like the pre-recorded.
Yeah, see, we're still trying to come up with ideas as we're in the middle of doing the podcast. Like, we're trying to figure out like everything
Raw
that
and
we can do.
unedited.
Yeah, exactly. And we're still trying to figure out stuff. Like, it's slowly but surely coming together.
We're
You'll
gonna
see.
figure it out together.
You'll see. We have a lot of stuff planned. We have another person helping us with said plans. I won't get into too much detail about that yet because they're currently working on some stuff for us that you'll eventually see.
Oh, I was confused for a second. I was like, what are you talking about? Is there
Yeah,
something I don't know?
We have somebody working with us behind the scenes who will be doing other stuff. You'll see once the stuff is done. There's a lot of stuff coming.
I can't wait to show them that.
Uh-huh.
No. Well, that too. This.
Oh, this? Yeah.
Yeah. So, how should we... Would you be okay if this was I mean, it kind of is. It's kind of like a mental health topic, right? The topic.
Yeah, that's kind of how I wanted to like go about a lot of these podcast episodes, like mental health problems and issues with oneself or something of that regard. Like, I wouldn't mind like occasionally having like a fun podcast where we just, basically, to put it in a nutshell, shoot the shit.
Yeah.
But I want a lot of the podcast episodes to be like this, where we can chalk.
We can chalk it up.
We can chalk. Well, yeah, chalk it up. There you go. Thanks for the save.
You're welcome.
Well, we could chalk it up about, mental health problems. And, like, I want to do an episode, once we know more about it, I would like to do an episode on borderline. Which is something that she goes through. So, it'd be a great episode, I feel, for her. Just like how I'd like to have an episode with PTSD and anxiety, depression. Something that we both have unfortunately had experience with is suicide. Unfortunately for both of us, we've experienced suicide in our lives in some form.
Shit sucks.
Yeah, it's not fun.
So many topics, though. Mental health is very wide.
Mm-hmm. Just like how another thing that we were thinking about doing, this was actually her idea, was just writing down a bunch of topics on pieces of paper, putting it in a hat, shaking up the hat, pulling out a piece of paper, and there's the topic for the podcast.
Yeah.
So.
I like
Oh,
that
and
idea.
by the way, also, I think I should mention this too. These podcasts are going to be every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. At least to start. Whether we expand that eventually, time will tell. But that's the plan for now. Obviously, this one's late, but
Better late than never.
that's just because we're just starting off, so we're just trying to figure out everything.
Yeah.
Not quite sure yet on exactly a time. I don't know what time you think would be best, but...
Well, you gonna premiere this? Yeah. Well,
So yeah, like I don't know if you just heard, she asked if I was going to premiere it. So I think the first handful of episodes will just be premiere episodes, so they won't be live, but they'll be premiered, so there'll still be a chat. You can still chat with each other. We'll try to be in the chat too, so you can chat with us as well while you're watching the podcast, or in our case right now, listening to the podcast.
Hi, future self.
Yeah, exactly. But once we get the camera and we get everything set up, then we'll be doing mostly, I would say, live streams.
Yeah.
Like, there might be a couple of premieres here and there, but they'll mostly be live streams.
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll be able to see your reactions.
Yeah.
As we're talking about
to
whatever
interact
topic
with
is.
you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it'll be a lot more interactive, and like I said, I would eventually like to figure out a way to allow you guys to call in.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be really nice to do.
Yeah. We're dreaming big. We're dreaming big. And I think that's great. You know, another thing that I want to finish watching, maybe today we can finish watching on Netflix, The Secret.
Oh, yeah.
We never finished watching
Yeah.
that.
That's another podcast. Yeah, that's a topic all its own.
In itself, exactly.
Uh-huh. The only thing that I'll say about that for now is if you have not watched it, I would recommend you watch The Secret.
Watch it.
It's on Netflix right now. Highly recommend it if you haven't already watched it. Watch it now because it'll definitely be a future podcast episode. So watch it so you can understand what we're talking about. And if you have anything that you would like to add into that podcast, then you already have the information from watching the same documentary. I would call it a documentary.
Yeah. It seems like that. I mean, it's people talking about a topic.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best way to simply put it. Yeah. But yeah, definitely watch it. You won't be sorry. Like, it's great.
It's a life changer.
It is. If you need some changing in your life, your life's gonna be a changing if you watch The Secret.
Yep.
For the better.
Yeah.
For the better, not for the worse.
And don't be one of those people who watch it and then don't implement what they talked about. You gotta actually implement it.
Yes.
In order for it to actually, show results.
Exactly. Which we have been doing.
Yep.
We have been doing. We are doing it.
And this is step one right here.
You're right, it is. Look at us go. So.
Almost 30 minutes now.
That it is.
Yeah.
What time is it? I mean, you wanted it to be a morning podcast.
Well, this is definitely the morning.
Yeah, 4?
It's 4 o'clock in the morning for us right now.
While we're recording this.
Yes.
So, what time is it? Well, you guys are watching it.
Yeah. It also depends on what time we post this up for premiere.
Yeah. I want them to leave a timestamp, though.
Mm-hmm. So right now, in the comments below, or in the chat, when you're watching this, right at this point, I want you to type into the comments or in the chat what time it is for you as you're listening right now.
And what you're doing. I want to know what you're doing. What?
So.
They can't see us. If they want to know what I'm doing, I'm just sitting in a rocking chair finishing this blunt. What? You're looking at me like I'm all silly.
Oh, and I will also like to add, this podcast is not intended for children under a specific age.
Oh, yeah.
I say that now because, well, this one is not bad. There will be some podcasts that'll get into conversations that are not suitable for the youngins. Yeah. And we'll just leave it at that for now.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'll try to see if there's somewhere that I could put, like, a warning in there somewhere, not suitable for children under the age of type thing, so that you know which ones, in case your little kitties want to listen to the podcast.
Or your little doggies.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Alright, so with all that being said, gotta think, do you have any other examples or anything to talk about as far as like the don't tell me how to feel? I feel like we kind of steered off a little bit.
Yeah, we did definitely steer off quite a bit.
But we're also, just like we said, though, this is also like the first one, and we're just trying to figure everything out.
I mean, yeah, we gotta share the information with the people.
Yeah, we're trying to squeeze as much as we can into one episode. Maybe that's not what we should be doing, but
we'll figure it out.
It'll all get worked out. We'll work out the kinks as we go. Like, for example, I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to hear us, but I will be trying to do some sound editing once it's over, so hopefully it'll be nice and loud for you guys, because, like I said, we are only using one microphone right now. We have two, but we don't have enough USB ports to support both microphones, so we're just using the one mic for now. But once we get the rest of the stuff in, we'll be able to use both mics, and hopefully that'll help with the sound.
Well, like, what makes people think, I guess, in general, that they have a right to tell somebody else how to feel? Like, I guess we can just talk straight up about the topic itself.
And that goes for relationships, too. By the way, like, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife type relationships. Never ever try to tell the other one how they're feeling.
Yeah.
Because you never really know. I mean, you might have an idea. Like,
right.
Obviously, if your partner is upset, obviously you'll be able to tell that they're upset. But don't try to be like the one who tries to claim that you know basically how upset they are, I guess would be. Or try to tell them like how upset they are.
Yeah, because you can't feel their intensity of that emotion. Like, you might know what the emotion feels like. Like, if they say, I'm angry, like, okay, you know what anger feels like for you. But you don't know what the anger for them feels like, because you're not them.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't mean that it's the same thing. That's foolish to think that we're all made the same way.
Yeah.
We're unique.
We are not the same machines.
No.
Anyway, I kind of interrupted you there. Did you have anything to add about anything?
No, you're fine. I don't know. My thoughts are... I might have more thoughts once this premieres, so maybe I'll be typing them down below. But
we could always go back too. Like, if we have more things to say about a specific topic, we could always do a part 2.
That's right. If we like after we end this, like, oh man, should have said this type thing. Yeah. We can always do that. How about you? Do you have any other comments, questions, concerns, opinions?
I think we covered the basis of the topic. I don't really know if there's much more detail that you can go in depth about that topic. I mean, the topic name itself is pretty much self-explanatory. Don't tell me how to feel.
So what do you guys think?
Oh, and here's something else too. If you guys have a topic that you would like to suggest, that's perfectly fine too. Comment down below.
Yeah. That would be awesome, actually.
Yep. Comment down below your topics. We don't have one yet, but we will have like a Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. So if you guys want to try to get a hold of us through that, that'll work too. It will try to make it all the same, so it'll be like at Komfy Kouch or at Komfy Kouch Podcast.
Yeah, whatever it is.
But we will have a Twitter and a Facebook.
Yeah.
So you guys can contact us through that.
I was gonna say something, but then my brain went.
Maybe Instagram too.
Sleepy. Instagram, huh?
Well,
perhaps.
Because Facebook and Instagram are kind of intertwined with each other now, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Because basically the way it is now is if you have a Facebook, you have an Instagram by default.
Yeah. I had Instagram before that happened, though. I just didn't really use it that much.
Yeah, so did I.
I don't remember the last time I posted something on there. But anyways.
Or if you want to find us on MySpace. No, just kidding.
Jesus.
We'll go that far back.
Didn't you say MySpace was making a comeback or something?
Yeah. It's just not called MySpace anymore.
It's not?
No, it's still the same thing. Like, the setup and everything is still the same, but it's called something else. I can't remember what it is, though.
Well, when you find out what it is, I would like to know. I'm interested. But, yeah. So 37 minutes, I think that about wraps it up. How you feeling?
Yeah, I would agree. So I'd say that's a job well done.
That's a wrap.
Call it a morning.
That was supposed to be a sound effect on purpose, by the way.
Yeah, we'll have sound effects and stuff like that later too. There's a lot of cool stuff coming. Trust me, we've got a lot of plans. There's still a lot of stuff to be figured out, but slowly but surely we'll work it out and everything will work out.
And climb the corporate ladder. Basically. Okay.
So I think that'll do it.
That'll do it. You guys have a good night or a good morning or a good afternoon or whatever it is.
Whatever time it'll be when you're listening to this, whatever time we post it up.
Yep, and you have fun.
So long, YouTube. Until we meet again.
Boob tube.